Today's program, Marge A. Chase visits with collector Bob Tripanier.
Welcome to Encore Cafe. John, this is my first time hosting. Please, help me out.
Don't worry, Don, you'll do fine. And it's like riding a bicycle. Once you learn, you never forget. And you'll never forget our next report. Recently, we visited the home of collector Bob Tripanier.
Join me for a treasure hunt. Do you like antiques? Can't stay away from swap meets or garage sales? Looking for that special antique? Well, you're in luck today because we're at the home of Bob Tripanier, who started as a very young boy and now has 3 warehouses full of valuable antiques, cars, bicycles, well, what have you. And he knows the history and the story behind all of them. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Marcy. How are you?
Tell me, how young were you and how'd you get started?
Oh, I was in the 7th grade, and the school teacher wanted us to enter a item in the Halloween Rosemead Parade, and so my father knew a man by the name of Richardson that owned a ranch, and he had this wagon here.
This one?
This one here. And I talked my dad into borrowing it for the parade. And at the end of the parade, I said, I really want something that I can use in parades again. So I talked my mom and dad into buying it for a Christmas present. And that was how I got started to collecting and going to parades, and it was a lot of fun. But it was the transporting of the horses to pull the carriages that got me to where I thought it would be much easier and a lot more fun to have an antique car just to drive to the parade, do the parade, and drive home. Well, I'd done that for several years, and then I started to think, oh, I want to do something different. I don't want to be just like all the rest. So I figured I'd start bringing antique bicycles. That's what really got me started. And I went to the parades, and there was my parents with an antique car, but I was right alongside them with antique bicycles. And we just got a lot of reaction out of the bicycles and started doing a lot of traveling. So I went from horse-drawn carriages to automobiles to bicycles, and now I'm collecting buses. But I have 17, and I think that's the end of the road. Because I'm running out of room. Unless there's some nice person out there that'll call me up and say, I have garages that you're welcome to use to put more buses, and I'll buy more. One of the unusual buses I have is a Greyhound. It's one of the oldest Greyhounds known in existence, and it's an original Greyhound that ran the lines. And then this boat tail bus that is out in front was an original parlor coach bus that ran from San Francisco to San Diego, and it was a 2-day run. They would go from San Francisco, and they'd stay at the Miramar in Santa Barbara, and then they would continue on to San Diego, and then stay over, and then repeat the tour back. It was made by an airship company. The way the back of it is tapered down, you can see that it's got a lot of streamline to it.
Which is your favorite bus?
Oh, my favorite bus is my double-decker bus.
The double-decker?
I have more fun with that.
I want to get on that double-decker.
I've been in the Rose Parade 3 times with my antique bicycles. We used to go to all the big grand openings. We'd done the grand opening of London Bridge. I'd done the opening of Disneyland. I'd done the opening of Disney World.
And how about the family? Aren't they sort of...
Oh, the kids all enjoy it. All of my kids enjoy riding the bikes, especially in parades. And then I have a lot of my friends that come and dress and ride in the parade.
You even have, what is it, a 2-wheeler or one of those old-fashioned for 2, or is it for 3?
Oh, they're the bicycle. It's a bicycle for 4, and there's a big English tandem there that's a very rare bicycle.
You know, when we were upstairs and I walked all of a sudden down this hall, and then I walk into this, it's like Alice in Wonderland. It's like I went into another world or somewhere in time. I couldn't believe it. All the things hanging up there, the bicycles, lights, Oh, there was like a carriage up there on the ceiling, very tiny.
That's General Tom Thumb's carriage.
Oh my goodness.
And that little carriage was given to Tom Thumb and P.T. Barnum by Queen Victoria. When Barnum took Tom Thumb over to perform for her, she was so impressed that she gave Tom a lot of different things. And then she had 3 carriages made for him. Yeah,
3? I didn't realize
well,
that.
there's 3. Yeah, this is the little summer carriage, and then he had the walnut, and then he had the hack. Yeah, this carriage was made about 1856.
Didn't you say that you had the first bicycle, one of the oldest bicycles up there too?
Well, there's a lot of the early bicycles.
You said even at that time they were rather expensive.
Well, a lot of people don't believe that bicycles was almost like a watch or a fine piece of machinery or jewelry. When a man used to work for $1 a day, you wouldn't believe that a bicycle would have cost anywhere from $60 to $100 back then. Where in comparison today, a man will work for maybe a day or a day and a half and he can buy a new bicycle. Back then you'd work for 70, 80 days before you could afford one.
Of all your antiques, which one could you specifically, one that really got to your heart that you think about and remember the most?
Well, you get into sentimental stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the big black tandem, the Rudge tandem I have, I mean, I love my parents so much that my mom and dad used to ride that. I mean, they rode it in London Bridge, they rode it in Disneyland and Disney World and all the parades. And when we used to travel around the United States doing these different things, my mom and dad used to ride that, and my mother would sit in the front and both pedals. And in the middle of it, you have a bar there. And my dad always used to take it, put a cigar in his mouth there, and when my mother's pedaling, he would put his feet up on the bars in the back there and
let her pedal.
let her pedal, and people used to laugh when they would see that. That if I was to have to choose, I would say if I was to have to choose, that would be my first choice.
I was sort of intrigued in the room you have there. You call it your nautical room? Mm-hmm. Tell me about some of the things. The electric fan. Tell me about the first fan before Edison.
Well, Stirling came with the hot air fan before the electricity came. And this particular fan that I had is what they used in a mortuary. And it was to keep the air moving around the casket as it was being displayed. But then just about the time that Stirling came out with that fan, Edison came out with electricity, and so it sort of ended Stirling in his hot air motor.
What about the one you have, that very small one? You said that was the first fan?
That was the first year that Edison produced electric fans, yes.
Now, I hate to say goodbye, but I promise. You say you have Christmas or, what is it, New Year's Eve parties on this bus?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, every New Year's I invite all my friends, and well, you'll have to come up on Colorado Boulevard and have marshmallows thrown at you.
I don't care. I'll throw them right back.
But for 25 years now, I've taken usually 2-3 buses. One year I took 4 buses, and we have a big party on the bus.
Did I get to sit up on the top?
Oh, it's all loaded on the top. Yeah, and then but a lot of people, they get tired of that because they don't want the marshmallows. Oh, they get marshmallows, they get drowned with the squirt guns and eggs thrown at them.
Well, heck, I'll bring my own marshmallows and my own eggs.